Here we go, another video by Bellular about Diablo Immortal. Now we're talking. He cannot take Diablo Immortal anymore. Let's go.
Alright, here's the deal. I wanted to review this game. I can't. Diablo Immortal puts its best
because it's a shitty game.
The rest of it follows. See all those sub-level 40 opinions you get at launch day?
Oh, God.
No, that is not the game. Not one bit. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, okay, look. I am a sub-level 40 opinion. The reason I'm level sub 40 is because I can't even enjoy the game enough to get to a higher level. Knowing full well it's Diablo 3 endgame. Right? So...
Well, like all good cash extraction systems, Immortal does of course give you a free hit. Now, the start of the game is pretty moody. You're approaching town in this little boat. The voice acting is excellent. Now, I'm playing this game on a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with a DualSense controller, so it feels great to control. The colors pop, the frame rate's a solid 60. I'm instantly taken into a little dungeon, and it feels great.
No, it doesn't.
It's a little bit simple, yes, but
extremely fucking
Diablo
easy.
Game isn't simple in the beginning. Soon, I mean, Deckard Game.
Diablo 2 is not simple in the beginning. There, Diablo 1 is really not simple in the beginning. Right? Like, the experience that you get from Diablo 2 and Diablo 1 when you just start the game is fucking like, this world is dangerous. The feeling you get from Diablo 3 as a new game is like, oh, I just need to click one button, everything dies, good.
Hey, I mean, Deckard bloody King. There he is.
Wow.
There's acoustic
The greatest
guitars.
hits.
At this point, all the boxes are being ticked. I'm getting new gear quick. There's no monetization really popping up in my face. I'm getting more powerful. I'm being introduced to the narrative of this game. Basically, you know, the post-world stone stuff. Gotta collect all these fragments strewn across Sanctuary.
Fractals.
Right? And they're powerful, they're dangerous, and they quickly become targets for those who wish to do ill. So I am here, I'm in Deckard, and I'm going to stop all this stuff. It seems reasonable. I'm intrigued enough. I mean, here we are.
Not really.
With Deckard. Oh, suddenly I'm fighting Leoric again. Okay.
For no reason. Diablo's greatest hits.
But, well, then the game starts to show its true colors. Okay, so like Leoric's dead and stuff. By now I've unlocked the Battle Pass and my first clear bonus bundle for the first dungeon. The one that...
I didn't even make it to Leoric. That's how bad the game was. That's how much I didn't give a shit about it. I didn't even make it to Leoric. So fucking bad, man. Such a boring game.
Hilariously includes so few orbs that there's only one thing you can buy from the store with them, and it's really not that useful at all. These are frustrating things, but at this stage of the game, they genuinely do not feel required. No, not at all. While absolutely a free-to-play game, it still does feel like Diablo at this stage. And I get the impression that the game could go somewhere, that there may be some sort of excellent game underneath the layers of obvious monetization, maybe the sort of thing where you could ignore the monetization, never want to climb the leaderboards, and maybe you could have some fun with it or something.
Not really.
A little, of course, do I know at this stage that rather than the game merely having bolted on purchases, that a lot of the purchases are actually quite deeply ingrained to the game loop. Bit rough, but it still feels pretty good at this early stage.
Does it though?
After saving the locals, Kane and I head to the Big Smoke. And what starts off feeling like an introduction to game mechanics and learning more...
No, it's introduction to the store, brother.
Quickly devolves into just having one of the most recognizable characters in the franchise
being a
spouting a bunch
sellout.
of hokey dialogue about how important legendary gems are, only for me to later find out how they actually work.
Oh, I'm 90.
Immortal does
Let's
the typical
go.
free-to-play thing of layering complex systems that whales, in about 20 or so days after they stop playing the game, end up just getting hooked and spend near infinite amounts of money on. And that's the thing with the legendary gems. At this stage, I know that they are a thing. I know that the crests go into the rifts, and that's how I get the legendary gems. But the thing is, at this stage, as a regular player, you don't really know the difference between a 1-star, 2-star, and then 5-star gem. And you just think, oh, the game gave me a few legendaries on my house.
Sweet, I can get rid of so much shit right now.
Fair enough, I guess. I don't feel like I need to do any of that stuff. So the free hit here that they give you, obviously, is a free hit of some legendary crests to kind of get you started, give you 1 or 2 gems. You feel really powerful.
Try and get
after that,
you
you continue
a bit of hook,
way.
a free shot, a free oh yeah,
and through the next
a
zone,
free Steam pack, you know.
Quest.
That's the good
the zone
stuff.
is dark. I mean, I save a teen after her father dies. Then she's killed in front of me. And it's
Nice.
It sure is Diablo.
Not the way they
The
present it.
second zone's actually quite neat. By its end, I do a decent dungeon and deal with another World Stone shard.
Won't be needing these.
I can't realize. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I only have the healer.
Is the storyline just me going from zone to zone dealing with shards?
Yep.
Because unfortunately,
Yep.
they kind of are just disconnected.
Yeah, I don't need
There's
any.
lots
Yeah,
of
it's
chasing
two
down
healers
shards
and a
with
mage. Okay.
essentially no real A plot to speak of with much meat to it.
Nope, there's nothing.
It's
Yeah.
basically just a big collection.
There
of
isn't
quests.
even Diablo in the game.
This was a worry that set in, and sadly it is one that only would become, well, more kind of well-founded as I would go through the game. Now, by this stage, I'm maybe around the 30s. It's pretty noticeable that a lot of the game is just Diablo 3. When I go to County, I might really notice that. But
Yep.
I don't really mind that as much as a lot of other reviewers. I didn't play a humongous quantity of D3, and the game felt...
That's why he doesn't mind it. We are sick of D3, bro. We had D3 for 10 years now. Well, 9. Like, yeah, of course we mind D3. It's been 9 years and it's the same game. Obviously, people mind.
fun enough, and my expectations were not sky high to start with.
Now there was a
then
mind.
the
Still
story just
disappointed.
Okay, turns out I've got to go and get more XP. So I do greater rifts, I do a few bounties, which are essentially just mindless dailies,
Yeah.
but soon after, things turn sour. It
Oh.
all starts to click.
Oh, now it starts to click.
Diablo Immortal screeches to a halt. After around level 40, what happens is you're routinely hard locked out of campaign progress until you hit a certain character level.
Fair enough.
So it turns out there's actually not that much campaign content in the game.
Nope,
There's
not
not.
at all.
And the leveling runtime is just padded out by daily grinds. And what becomes extremely clear, however, is the bizarre placement of XP in this game. Because you
Ooh,
don't
very
actually
nice.
get that much XP from running a rift or clearing a dungeon. But what you do get is Battle Pass progress. And it actually
Yay.
turns out that every time you level your Battle Pass, you get a bunch of XP. And that's your main source of XP. Now, a certain event will maybe have a double Battle Pass progress event for like a limited number of runs. So you're
Yeah.
basically clearing your bounties and you're just grinding that out, and then you're just grinding other Battle Pass activities. That's the way to go. The pass is so
Okay.
core here. And what they've done with this is they've trained the viewer to just see and view much of the game through the lens of doing Battle Pass activities. Rather than, getting XP by doing content, you are ranking up your Battle Pass to get XP. It's not subtle what they're doing here. All the while, of course, you're leveling up the free track of the Battle Pass. You look down at the premium. It's full of rewards that you've technically earned via gameplay, but you just haven't been given because you haven't paid. I mean, that's a standard enough Battle Pass thing. For my own personal side of things, I thought, okay, $4.99, I guess the way to play this game is probably as some sort of Battle Pass Andy. That's not being a crazy whale, but, I mean, if I'm going to
Battle
give them a
Pass
$5
Andy,
roughly
yeah.
every month, surely the what I get in return for that and the overall way the game will feel should feel a bit more premium then. Spoiler, it doesn't.
Of course not.
Now, this whole thing with Battle Pass
Shocking.
is one of the many, many ways that Immortal consistently guides you towards its store and its monetized things. Beyond the very obvious get more buttons that are pretty much everywhere with the game's various different currencies. And this is where Immortal truly began to just lose me. They did not...
I'm surprised you made it this far and only then you realized how bad of a game it is. Like, bro, it's Diablo 3, man. It's Diablo 3. You go through the skill tree, you can see already when you're gonna have fun as you're leveling and when you're gonna have a fucking mental breakdown. Just by looking at where the skills unlock and which skills unlock at what time.
create enough narrative content to hold you through the 60 levels. So instead, they dole it out very thin, and then they just push you into the habit-forming activity that is Battle Pass leveling. And I actually don't even think it does a great job of this as a free-to-play game. This part of the game straight up just feels boring and unrewarding. I think
Wow.
Diablo would make more money for whales if this was compressed. Maybe I'm just wrong.
Look, the reason it feels boring and unrewarding is because that's that's the whole game. That's like there's nothing else in the game. It's the whole game is that. Why it takes so long for people to notice it, bro? What do you think they're gonna give you a good story? Oh well, this happens before Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. Diablo 3 didn't have a good story. You think the story between 2 and 3 is gonna be good? Holy fuck.
Now, of course, it feels unrewarding. That feeling of it being unrewarding can always be counteracted, of course, by just purchasing a bunch of legendary crests. Because that's going to give you a
The only way... I keep forgetting how I want to say it, but it's like... The only reason people feel good playing Diablo Immortal is because they really like the gameplay. That's it. And let's be real, people who play mobile games, no offense, you have very low standards for video games.
A Rift run that will have guaranteed a whole bunch of legendary gem loot. So if you want to continue the nice little dopamine rush that's keeping you motivated as the game is really fast paced towards the beginning, if you want to keep that like same level of, oh, this game is engaging me, oh, I'm getting a little pellet out of the Skinner box, if you want to keep that pace going, you do have to cough up in the way that they've done it. Now, eventually, I do push through some of these level caps. I do the leveling content in the big mountain zone with the monks, and you know what? It's just fine. Again, it's barely connected. It doesn't seem like there's much of an overall narrative other than deal with the world stones. And it's the sort of thing where Diablo 3's story was a mess, but at least it tried to weave a story through its...
Yes. And again, the other thing is, it's like, if you think about... And I knew this, like, the first time they announced Diablo Immortal, that it's gonna be in between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, I knew the story is gonna be shit, is because there is not much after the story of Diablo 2 to actually think about. To be honest, Diablo 3 doesn't make a lot of sense. But they it kinda makes sense, but it really doesn't. Somehow, Diablo's seed in the witch's womb is gonna be his resurrection. Pushing it, but at least you can kind of make sense out of it because he's a demon, sure, whatever. Like, yeah, the whole, honestly, I don't know why Diablo 3 didn't talk about the shards. It's like, oh well, we skipped the shards, so in this one we're gonna talk about the shards. Yeah, what are you gonna say about the shards? Everyone already forgot about them. It's been over 20 years since Diablo 2. You think people remember the fucking shards? You think they care about it? It's too late.
Acts. Immortal just makes no attempt at that type of cinematic storytelling. I'm not saying a Diablo game needs to do that, but I'm saying that the way that they
To an
did
extent.
it in Immortal just isn't particularly engaging. Now, by the time I'm level 50, the full gravity of all...
And the whole thing when he said that it's like, oh, this game is a lot more gruesome and all that stuff, it's very dark and stuff, because you rescue somebody and then that somebody dies anyways. It's like, bro, that's not what makes it gruesome. You have to actually have a connection to that person that you saved. Like, you have to care about the person you saved for it to be, what's it called? For it to matter that the person dies. Otherwise, it's like, well, random people are dying, it's gruesome. It can be a fucking comedy with a lot of people dying. Who cares? Jesus. Let's keep going.
All this is really hitting me. It ain't pretty. And this is really where I just kind of decide, nope, screw this. I'm going to record my thoughts, and I'm never going to touch this game again.
Yes.
So first up, I learned the difference between, of course, the 1, 2, and 5-star gems, and then just how insane the upgrade acquisition loop is, right? I mean, you can pay to skip months and months ahead of a free player's experience. Hell, they even directly sell a 4-star legendary gem in the store, and I think it's like £140 because it's actually 3 different microtransactions that you've got to smoosh together. Just they're not microtransactions. That's the price of 2 or 3 AAA games. It's insane. Now, you get a few legendary crests pretty soon, but after that, they really dry up. And the thing is, This is overtly selling progress. And while Wyatt is right in that it's
Overtly?
not buying gear, it 100% is buying power.
Yeah, Wyatt is technically correct. He didn't technically lie. He misled you. It's like, oh, it's not gear. It's just like the thing that's like goes into gear, right? It's like telling people that's like, let's say if World of Warcraft was selling the world boss buffs on the store, and it's like, well, we don't sell gear, you can't like max out gear, but here are all the world buffs. You can pay $5 extra a month, and every time you raid, you're gonna have the world buffs. Yeah, guess what? Everyone's gonna fucking buy it. No, what? You're not selling gear. Yeah, you're selling fucking power-ups, okay? Like, fuck off. This is the same fucking shit.
Because whether it's your gems or your gear, it all just goes into your combat rating, and that is what the game counts as, really, as being your power. Warcraft is not going to get you out of this one, Wyatt, especially because we then find out that because of the insane upgrade costs and how the magic find is better on 5-star gems, that friggin' players who spend a whole bunch of money to get loads of 5-star gems will actually have more magic find. That means that they will get higher quality drops in the game.
You're
They will get
drunk.
more triple stat legendaries and things like that, which of course give them more combat rating. And is that technically selling gear? No, but it's basically like you can pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to have your own weird magic find boost because of how they have done these gems. And to be very clear, for a free-to-play player to get a similar amount of magic find, that is going to take years. This game is mad.
Yeah.
Then I find the Heliquary. Multi-person bosses. Seems neat, seems really cool. I hop into one, it's a pretty cool boss fight, and then the whole group falls apart, so that's kind of unfortunate. But then, of course, I realize that the Heliquary is tied to player power and money. And at that point, I'm like, oh, cool. I don't want to play you anymore.
Yep.
Because you pumped it full of money. So
Yep.
the Heliquary is like this box, right? Now you upgrade it with a rare resource that makes it just give you more power, and also it means that it has more slots. And into those slots, you can basically place trophies from the bosses that you kill. And I've got to say, if this was unmonetized, this could be a really awesome system. But it is monetized, those upgrade slots.
Would it,
There's
though?
various different between bundles and purchases that get you that upgrade resource. And at this stage, I'm just like, man, this isn't an optional thing. You have deeply ingrained the money bit into the gameplay loop. Screw you. And the bundles start to get crazy. What started at 89 pence, just over $1 for you guys in America, that's now $17.99 for me. And then a German viewer sends me a bundle that he saw in his store.
Not too much.
It's €50. It's the Hell 1 difficulty version of one of the earlier on bundles in the game that's super cheap. €50. Then he sends me another one that's like €23. And then worse still, I'm going around the game's UI, I find the Prodigy's Path, which is basically a second battle pass, where the premium tier gets you legendary crests and Heliquary upgrade resources. I mean, ouch. And then I see a new material. I see a new material in the store, or at least I didn't notice it before. This material is a Dawning Echo that wakes up new powers and legendary equipment that's got a rank 10 legendary gem inside it. That costs 1,000 orbs. You cannot buy 1,000 orbs. 630 costs $8.99, 1,650 costs $21.99. So I guess you'll just have to buy more than you need, of course. But obviously, getting that gem upgraded to rank 10, I mean, if that's a 2-star gem, you're going to need dupes. That's going to be super expensive and basically not a super achievable thing for a free-to-play player. And then I noticed the platinum currency, and then I noticed the market, and what a deadly combination these two things are. So, head to the market board, right? 1-star legendary gems, they're like a few hundred platinum. Maybe a few dollars worth at most. Cheap. Reinforces how 1-star legendary gems are just basically friggin' useless, right? And then scroll down to the 5-star gems. Now, of course, remember, a 5-star gem can drop at 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and 5 out of 5. And then the upgrade costs there are just insane. So insane, of course, the Blizzard are directly selling that rank 4 out of 5 legendary for around 140 quid. pants. Shouldn't be too colloquial. Okay. It's getting mad. Because you can spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in the market board. It's mad. And of course, for that legendary gem that they directly sell in the in-game store, well, that appeared for me at some point in an area that is labeled specials in the bundle section. So clearly they intend to run more specials over time. So it's only going to get worse from here. They're going to keep on directly selling legendary gems. And then as for the market board, I mean, there's legendary gems that are costing anything from like £50 to well over £500. That's like $600, $700. And that makes sense in terms of the rarity. And while the, you know, the number crunched averages are a bit lower, like you see the streamer Quinn's spending like 7,000 USD. He ended up
that was
that until he actually got a 5-star gem. And then what's really absurd is, of course, when Josh Strife Hayes noticed something. He noticed that legendary gems that dropped from Battle Pass, Progeny's Path, or the single sort of free-to-play legendary quest.
That's the thing.
Those are bound, meaning
Red
they
is
can't be
this,
sold.
I guess.
And that does mean that every single gem purchased
The
from the market
spears
board is with platinum. And of course, platinum is a currency with a small enough amount of. Therefore, the people who are buying the highly expensive platinum gems, or gems with platinum, the market board, well, they're going to be spending real money. Now, remember, the gem that they're buying with maybe £400 worth of money converted into platinum, 300 or whatever. The gem that they're buying with that originally dropped from a paid legendary crest run. One that people just bought a whole bunch of crests for in the in-game store. Perhaps they were, using 10 crests in a single Greater Rift run. And that means that for every one of those 4-star, maybe 5-star gems that you see in the market board in your server, basically someone, or like the aggregate of people, have done what Quinn did and just dropped like 10 grand. And then decided to just go sell the gems. Maybe they didn't want it, maybe it was a dupe, I don't know. And that just means that for every gem that then drops via a crest, isn't wanted, and is then sold on the board, Blizzard are making all of the legendary crest money that it took to drop that gem, and then they're making a whole bunch of money all over again as soon as the market board is used with platinum. That's the thing with the way that it works with platinum. It's not just like it's a real money transaction between you and another player and Blizzard acts like eBay and skims some off the top. No, it is way more deeply monetized for them. This stuff is disgusting, but to my shock, of course, it
by a party member or so.
The game then introduced me to another friggin' mechanic called the Heradric Legacy or some bullshit. Basically, right, you do a wee dungeon, you get these big gems, you stick them in the Heradric bullshit box. Then the game shows you like a new little section of the dungeon, you delve into the ancient order ruins and stuff. Turns out it's all piss easy anyway, and as you fight mobs, those mobs drop keys, okay? And then soon you emerge into a room full of chests.
These three are ranged.
Chests use those keys to open, getting you an amount of small gems. And it turns out those small gems actually upgrade the big gems that are in the
we've already been over this. It's a scam, yes.
To just give you more power.
It's a confusing scam, but it's a scam.
You then realize that if you head back in, there's even more chests. But you won't have any keys. But no worries, because it transpires that you can open them for a measly 500 platinum anyway. Of course, you'll easily have 500 platinum being a free-to-play player, but if you want to open a whole bunch of them, at least immediately, you will have to swipe. Now, 500 platinum costs 50 orbs. So there you go, that's the one thing that 89p bundle from the beginning can get you. Now, if you want to open multiple of these, maybe you want 5,000 plat. Well, that costs 500 orbs. You can't buy 500 orbs. 315 orbs costs 449, while 630 costs 899. So there you go, got him. You're always spending more than you need because obviously that spare change is going to reduce your friction for your next purchase because you've already just got some money left over in your Diablo Immortal account effectively. The bastards. Then I touched some PvP.
Bellular.
Now, there's weird shit going on here. There's the whole Immortals versus Shadows thing. Then there's the Battleground style PvP. You know what? It all seems kind of neat, potentially even some fun. Then I see the difference between a swiper and a free player. The answer here is nope. I am not engaging in this complete bullshit. So if you thought the bullshit was over, you're wrong. Now, what the whales will tell you here is that this system means that eventually, you know, after the kind of ranks settle, you'll just have whales fighting whales, and then you'll have minnows fighting minnows and free-to-plays fighting free-to-plays. And that's kind of like technically true. But it does mean that to climb the ladder, you need to just get more progress, get more resonance. It is directly predicated on buying power. So just as you can basically stay in the kiddie pool with all the other free-to-play, you know, nooblets, apparently that to some people means that this is an okay form of monetization where, like, obviously,
yes, we have seen those videos by people who think this is okay. Well, this is not as predatory as other games. Why is it predatory to begin with?
Playing PvP, you want to do better. So if you are a free-to-play player and you actually...
Or when people say it's like, well, it's only because you're in the lower ranks. Once you reach my ranks, the whale ranks, you only play against people who paid. That's what pay to win means, man. In order to be number one, you have to pay a shit ton of money. So yeah, but it's not like I'm hunting noobs like you were when you just started PvP. Well, let's say like this. What if I pay a lot of money but I never go into PvP and I just do PvE, and then one day, like half a year in, I'm like, you know what? Let's try PvP. I only spent $500,000 on this game. Try PvP. Guess who you are fighting against? Non-payers. And guess what you're doing? Demolishing them. Like, it's not even close. 100 score. Like, they can't even like fucking scratch you.
Actually are really highly skilled at the game, sure, you're going to be able to beat more and more people, and then you'll end up being matchmade against people who have got more and more purchase power. Yeah, because that's how those rankings are just gonna go. Yeah. So no matter what, the PvP,
which is true to any PvP system in Bellular.
And you know what? I've actually spoken to former dev people, not in this project, but you know, in and around Cali, in and around free to play, and they're like, oh yeah, no, you see this whole PvP thing? It's basically just a humongous monetization funnel for the Chinese market. Just always. If you weren't aware, by the way, like those who are in the know all know what this is. It is just a money funnel.
100%. Well, that's enough.
You know what the sad
for
thing
any
is?
market.
PvP actually could have slapped. Could have been super, super, super fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But as soon as I see the way it's monetized, nope. It's not a video game anymore. Screw you.
Sure. Fair enough.
Now it's time to talk about loot. So loot's weird. People started reporting that there's actually daily limits on how many legendaries, you know, like X legendaries per source. And then what's weird is Blizzard said, no, there isn't that. So maybe a bug caused that, I'm not exactly sure. But what I do know is that gems, they're upgraded to rank 5, give more magic find. If that is a 1 or 2 star gem that a free-to-play player,
that's even like that is probably the worst thing about it. I don't know. I think everything about it is pretty bad, but that is probably the worst thing. That's like, if you're a pay-to-win player, you will also get better gear by default, because your shit will what's it called? You will have a lot more shit drop for you. It's crazy.
I mean, to get a 2-star gem will take a free-to-play player like 2.5 weeks of grinding the Embers currency from Rifts. But of course, that won't be enough to upgrade the rank of their 2-star gem to rank 5. Doing so will actually require dupes of that very same gem, which honestly does make upgrading a rank 2 legendary gem like super unfeasible for a free-to-play player to do. Now, upgrading a rank 1 gem, that is going to cost you like so many gems worth of gem power that even that I think is not particularly realistic for a free-to-play player.
Yep.
So I would say that effectively,
on purpose,
the time grind to unlock the magic find on your gems is insane for a free-to-play player, and the amount of more magic find you can get as a pay-to-win player is just madness. So a pay-to-win person could easily enough be earning, they could have like double magic find of a free person, easy. So whether there is some sort of hidden throttle or soft capped gear on a daily basis, or whether there isn't, the core point is more magic find means you are getting more gear faster. It means you are getting higher quality
in a game that it revolves around
rating,
more gear,
right? And that means that the people who pay to engage in the whole legendary gem system are going to have a significantly faster rate of general gear
dead game, man.
So when Wyatt says they're not selling gear, even before this magic find thing was discussed, we knew that he was technically correct, but not correct by the spirit.
Yeah, I think
of his
everyone
words.
knew.
Here, the same holds. He's just even more incorrect by the spirit of his words. And like, guess what? All this gear stuff is like pretty impactful at the end game. It's set up in a way where you'll want to clear more challenge rifts. You know, get your leaderboard
Only if you care. You don't
it's
care.
impossible if you're playing for free. You know what? It's basically impossible if you're just a, as they're now called, Battle Pass Andy. Okay, let's go to where the game utterly dies for me.
Oh, it didn't die yet?
Okay then, so let's continue this shit show. Difficulty levels are limited by your Paragon level and your combat rating. Now your combat rating of course comes from your gear, the upgrades to your gear, the gems, the upgrades to your gems. If you go full pay to win mode, you will get loads of combat rating from your gems. Loads. The higher magic find will let you increase your combat rating faster, you'll probably have a higher chance of getting more triple stat legendary drops. And if you're not swiping, it's all going to be so much more slow and grindy. If you want those 2-star legendary gems, basically via the Ember system, you'll get one every 2.5 weeks. And then, of course, there is your monthly, your monthly legendary crest that you get from one of the vendors. Now, the end game of Immortal, it totally trains you to focus in on the combat rating number, and then it sells you ways to improve it. And this is where I decided I'm not going to hit 60 and get into Paragon because I just saw what's being done. It's like, no, I'm not putting myself through that for a goddamn YouTube video. So as you're leveling up, you know, you're getting more of the special dungeon bundles. And for me, I hit level 55 and just knowing all of this stuff has me quitting the review, right? I mean, just fuck it. Fuck this game. Greedy bastards who have contorted Diablo into this disgusting, offensive, predatory, massive
Why Chang and his
Every
lackeys?
aspect of player power is tied to the store in some way. Past that, free hit, the game just evolves into a boring piece of shit, and it just attempts to shamble onwards. PvP could be a shining star of this game, but pay to win basically destroys that. Gearing and buildcraft could be fun, but pay to win gems completely destroy.
You know what I'm more surprised with? The game is practically Diablo 3. They could have just as easily added the PvP to Diablo 3 and that would be fine. It's like, oh, the builds are not balanced. Yeah, that's fine, who cares? Like, everyone has every class now, and even if you don't, just make it. You can max level like almost instantly and make it the build you want. Like I don't know why there is no PvP in D3 yet. Still, it makes no sense.
The challenge rifts are actually pretty fun, but even that is kind of destroyed because of everything else I've talked about and the connections to player power. You've got whole systems like the Heraldric Legacy bullshit thing that are essentially just designed to be another pointless treadmill that you can pay to accelerate through. That is the core design tenet of this game, basically. And you know those hopes people had of a great 20-hour story? No! Deckard Cain is a pathetic shade of his former self, reduced to being the guy outside the friggin' sketchy restaurant, you know, spinning around a sign that just says limited time deal, get your legendary gems here. The story is paper thin, it has nothing of interest to say. The promise of it is there but goes nowhere. And even if it did, they ruined their pacing in order to educate you about the exciting perks and benefits of their battle pass. Those who have pressed on through these are just finding more and more of the system just pushed and squeezed. That's the thing. Even people, from what I understand, who've hit level 60, they don't appreciate the squeeze of this game yet. Design problems like, say, Hell 2 dungeons basically require 4 players. That's something that is really hard because of slow combat rating progress. That's just going to encourage more swipers.
That's the point.
Why do they add a social dimension there? Because they want the social benefits of being a swiper. This is such common stuff.
Just about to heal him.
Who are swipers? It's going to seem more of a normal thing.
I was reading shit.
Got the reports of people.
Fuck my life. I have to do this again.
Look at this. They're not really engaging that stuff. Their characters are
this fucking quest. Why is it so long?
This game is bizarre. Even things like the whole Immortals versus Shadows mode. It's like, yeah, cool. I maybe would bother to engage with that. Then I see what it's like for players who jump into that and just find that, oh, one of the Immortal players is a swiper, therefore my team has lost.
Yep.
Do you want to clear challenge rift fast? I mean, get lost. Because a whale can blast through them faster than you. And
yep.
The whole thing is basically timed with a leaderboard. So Blizzard wants you to know that you can just pay for a better rank. The game is so scummy, even, that paid cosmetics are per character. Per character!
Yeah, that's,
17 pounds.
Bro. The per character bullshit on cosmetics, like, that is an extra low. Like, this is so dumb. Like, who thought this was a good idea to have cosmetics character based? That's so dumb. As I know, Diablo Immoral is really not into alt characters, because they offer you like once a month to change which like to change your main class. Like if you are Demon Hunter level like 60 Paragon 200, you can change to a Sork once a month or something like that, and then from Sork to something else, etc, etc. But like, why is it for one character?
99 pence cosmetic that not, you know, if I made another Demon Hunter, that Demon Hunter couldn't use it. I have to buy the thing twice.
Yeah, good times.
Warcraft 3 Reforged was an embarrassment born of leadership not caring.
Yep.
This game is an embarrassment completely born of leaderships caring, and that's a really scary thing. Now we have a situation where the general manager and senior vice president of Diablo...
Like, from now on, the face of Wyatt Chang is gonna be the face of a liar and a thief. Like, it's crazy. It's like, you just ruin your own reputation. It's like like, if he leaves Blizzard and he goes to any company and you see the name, oh, Wyatt Chang was part of this game, you will probably not want to play it, you know?
Diablo 4 and their community lead are basically having to do tweets about how D4 is really going to be a real game, honest. It's not going to have all this bullshit. And you know what? I do actually believe them. I don't think they're going to put this bullshit into D4.
Oh, not this bullshit.
Stash tabs, though. Maybe they'll just try to take a little inch if they can.
Oh yeah. Stash tabs probably.
Is that Immortal has evidently damaged
cosmetics, fine.
So much that
skips,
yeah. D4 are having to communicate to people that D4 effectively is a real video game. And that's sad for them. I mean, PR will never let them say what people actually want to hear. People probably want to hear them say, Diablo 4 is a premium game with...
This is the dumbest thing. PR won't let like the Blizzard devs to say what Diablo really is. But aren't they asking you to say? It's like the whole point of PR is like we need to like somehow cater to the goodwill of the people, so we have a good public relation, but don't let them hear what they're asking to hear. I feel like you would have a much more positive reception from like people if you straight up went out and told them it's like, yeah, we fucked up Diablo Immortal. It's what it is. It's a mobile game. What do you expect, idiots? I think like people would actually respect Blizzard more for that than less.
With lots of post-launch content with zero pay-to-win elements. That's probably what they want to say. But if they say that, it's admitting the truth. That Blizzard's team and NetEase's team designed Diablo Immortal this way, and you can't squirm out of it. No matter how many, you know, bizarre, copium, friggin' tweets Wyatt Chang likes, that are just the people who are completely, you know, dazzled by this game and blinded by it and think, oh, pay to win, that's not a problem. The whales can sort themselves out into the elite tier, and all the minnows can fight in the pit below them, as if that's an okay thing. No, that's a load of bullshit. That's a load of bullshit. And just because, you know, there's a thing called, is it the naturalistic fallacy? It's the idea where, you know, the way some people just say, oh, chemicals bad, I only eat natural things. And then a lot of people will come and be like, yeah, well, guess what, my dude? Loads of natural things will kill you. Loads of chemicals, some of them won't kill you. Guess what? Turns out
you're gonna die.
It doesn't make sense.
Turns out you're gonna die anyways. That's pretty much how it is. Turns out you're gonna die anyways. It's like, it's only a matter of time.
Sense, right? The naturalistic fallacy is a fallacy for a good reason, and I think a lot of people are using the naturalistic fallacy here in a way. They're basically saying that because these things are normal in the Chinese market, that they're normal in mobile games, that therefore they're okay when Blizzard does them. No, it doesn't work like that. If something
Clearly
is bad
does.
on a first principles basis, it's bad. It becoming more prevalent doesn't make it less bad. It just means that you're the frog and you've been boiled. So may this game burn in hell. Goodbye, Diablo Immortal. I am uninstalling you. If I never have to talk about you again, it will be a good thing.
Yeah, seriously.
But let's be real. If 2 months pass and they just see all of the whales that they've captured and they just go, oh, time to rinse them harder for season 3. You're goddamn right. I'm gonna let you all know what's going on because. I mean, a company that once had a reputation doing this sort of thing, yeah, they should be.
The thing is, shit, guy's about to die again. Oh my god, let me click him. The thing is, if there are no free-to-play players, the whales will quit the game too. It's like, why would you be a whale when you can't even show your superiority, you know?
Public relations. It's as simple as that. It's a two-way street. You know, there's the consumers, there's the people making the products. The main way that the consumers vote is with our money, but we're allowed to talk about the things we don't like. We're allowed to self-organize a little bit.
Of course.
And I think this game is a massive rallying cry that we need to do that. We need to do that. Because you can't help but wonder, if they could get away with this indeed, would they? That's why we have to make it very clear that they won't get away with it.
But they will.
That's it for me.
But they will.
Goodbye.
They're already shills defending it, so of course they will.
Angry for this channel very soon. Oh my god, I really need it. Have a great, I don't know when this is.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but it's like, I honestly doubt anyone would do anything about it. Like, people who already quit. I mean, there's not much. There's not gonna be a big difference in. It's like the people who were gonna quit probably already quit. People who were gonna stay are gonna stay. If there's not enough people for the whales to like show their dominance over, the whales are also gonna quit. That is the only one that takes a bit more time. But on that though, look, the game will break even after like 3 to 5 years. Nothing to talk about till then. I mean, it's a shitty game overall. There's nothing to do in the game. The gameplay is like average at best. But again, yeah, I wouldn't expect a mobile player to know that the game is average at best because they enjoy Clash of Clans and they think that's a good game. It's like, alright bro, you do you, you know? It's like, as far as gaming goes, it's barely a distraction. It's like, it's an automatic game. There's really nothing to like break your head over. There's nothing interesting about it. There's nothing for you to learn in it. Like, there's absolutely nothing in that game that is like anywhere near a good game, right? Anyways, yeah, that was Bellular, and he can't take Diablo Immortal anymore. Go figure.